During our trip to North Platte and Scottsbluff this week, we drove by many pastures and rangelands. Many of the forages in these areas were brown and mostly dormant. These low-quality forages may require cattle producers to reanalyze their grazing management plans. Market Journal's Kurtis has the story.
It's hot and dry in Nebraska. Some portions of the Panhandle have only received 3 to 4 inches of precipitation since the beginning of the year. The lack of moisture, coupled with consistently high temperatures, is significantly impacting agricultural production systems in the state. Due to the historic weather conditions, livestock producers may need to adjust their grazing plans to maximize pastures and rangelands. University of Nebraska-Lincoln Extension educator Aaron Berger says this year's forage production is substantially lower.
Yeah, forage is limited right now for sure, both on a rangeland standpoint and from a haying standpoint. Even on irrigated acres, because of the heat we've had, we're just not seeing these alfalfa and cool season grasses producing like we would in an average year. And so with even the shortage of carryover we had, we're also going to have a shortage of a hay crop this summer, and so forage is going to be tight.
UNL Extension Range and Forage Specialist Jerry Valesky echoes Berger's concerns. Valesky says cool season forage grasses were only 30 to 50% productive this year in the western portion of Nebraska. Many of these forages may be finished producing at this point.
I think we will end up this year, 2012, well below average in terms of our productivity, and that would even include cases where we do get some rains here during July. We're just getting too far into the growing season to make a significant difference or impact.
While cool season grasses may be finished producing for the year, warm season grasses are also stressed and will deteriorate with heavy grazing, especially in July.
The basic thing is that they are currently under severe stress because of the drought. And then if we excessively graze some of those pastures during July, that grazing is an additional stress for them, and that will, we're going to see the results of that next year too, even if we do have more average rainfall next year. So they do need to be very cautious with their grazing during the month of July in terms of the stocking rates and the level of use they put on the pastures.
Valesky recommends adjusting grazing rotations to reduce the stress on warm season grasses. Ranchers in western Nebraska also have additional grazing opportunities through the Conservation Reserve Program.
We have a lot of CRP acres, and some of those acres have been released recently for grazing. I expect more counties will see those acres released here in the next few weeks. And so we can graze those till late September. And so that provides a grazing option for people that have access to those to try to stretch some forage supplies. And I think that'll be a benefit.
Cattle producers may experience some relief on grazed pasture lands through the utilization of CRP acres and rotational grazing practices, but another viable option exists. University of Nebraska-Lincoln Extension Beef Range System Specialist Aaron Stalker says early weaning is one of the best ways to extend the lives of pastures and rangelands. Calves can be weaned as early as 60 days after birth.
If we wean the calf, that reduces the cow's nutrient requirements and therefore will reduce her intake. So she's not eating as much as she would be if she has the calf, and that'll allow us to stay in the pasture longer. The second reason why it's beneficial to early wean is because if we wean the calf and remove him from the pasture, then we're reducing the intake of the calf. So he's not grazing in that pasture anymore, and the bigger the calf gets, the more he eats, so removing him from the pasture can help us save a lot of grass as well.
Adding supplements to lower quality forages is generally not recommended. By adding supplemental protein, cattle could end up consuming even more feed because protein influences the rate of digestion.
If we add protein to the diet, that will increase the rate of digestion, so the feed passes through the rumen faster, and the faster the rumen passes through, the more the animal eats. Okay, so adding protein will increase the intake of the cows.
While supplements aren't recommended to help prolong the lives of pastures and range lands, protein supplements are encouraged if ranchers want to breed their cattle in the late summer. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Kurtis Harms.
Thanks, Kurtis. For more information from the experts featured in this piece, you can watch their full interviews at our website, marketjournal.unl.edu, or you can view them on our Market Journal mobile app.